Patient safety is something that hits home with everybody. Recently hit home with me, and I had to deal with some of the things that losing some safeguards that we talk about on a regular basis here. Welcome to Taproot TV. I'm Benny Hughes, and I'm here with Marcus Miller, our expert in this area and our advocate for patient safety. How are you doing?
Doing well.
Well, I was telling him just a little bit ago, we always talk about, we think it's so important if you go into the hospitals and things like that, that you have an advocate on your side, like a family member who can talk for you if you can't talk for yourself. And recently with the COVID issues, that went out the window.
It did. That's our best safeguard, is a loved one with us that's not afraid to speak out and say, hey, I don't think something here is quite right. And you go grab somebody to fix it. And these patients are by themselves.
Who knows your patient better than the family members?
Right.
And the people in the hospital, they're just meeting them. They're meeting them for the first time, and not in the world's greatest situation.
Right. They're not in their best shape at that point, right?
They aren't. And sometimes, maybe their mind's not right at the time and things like that. So, well, even before all this COVID stuff happened and we were able to have that safeguard in place, there was a lot that went wrong.
Right. We've written several blogs about it on our website, but as many as 400,000 people every year lose their lives because of medical mistakes, preventable mistakes.
It's a lot.
We're people. We make mistakes, and especially healthcare workers. I mean, it's overwhelming. You have multiple patients that need you at the same time. You have to make decisions, and sometimes you just can't follow the policies or procedures or the normal way to do your work because several people need you at one time. And most of the time it works out, but sometimes things line up exactly wrong and it causes an issue.
That statistic is mind-boggling, and it's like has to be up there with some of the leading causes of death, I would think.
Absolutely. It's second or third leading cause of death right now.
Wow, that's something. Well, you work very passionately about how to help the hospital workers out there have better patient safety in their environments.
Right. So we put together a patient safety course to help the healthcare field utilize Taproot, leverage the human performance expertise, so we get away from, when we do make mistakes, that we look at that person and say, oh, wow, they knew that was against policy. Why are they doing that wrong? Maybe we can fix them. And you can't fix people.
Right.
We're always going to come to, yeah, that's a secret, right? It's a secret. We're not perfect.
Right.
So instead of blaming them and feeling better that we've disciplined somebody, or we wrote a policy or procedure to fix this situation, or we've really trained somebody to fix that issue, it's unrealistic.
Yeah.
Because we're going to make mistakes. We're all going to come to work bored or distracted or
Right.
overwhelmed, and we have to make a bad decision or a worse decision sometimes to take care of our patients.
But based on trying to do something good.
Yeah, right. The intentions are always good.
Yes.
Rarely, very rarely.
Yeah, there have been those few.
Dr. Death.
Yes.
I think we wrote about him too. But rarely somebody means to harm a patient.
Right.
It's just they were overwhelmed, they took a shortcut, and that particular day everything else lined up against them, and that shortcut caused harm. And that's what Taproot prevents. It takes a look at those human factors that have not been put in place yet that would have prevented the issue.
Exactly. And like we were saying, that one safeguard went away, that having your own advocate there with you, your own family member. I did recently read that, like I said, my dad was in the hospital, and there were no visitors in the hospital. The patients and the medical staff was it. That was all there were. And since then, now they're starting to let like one person come in.
That's good.
And so, I think they realized we've got to have that. They need that extra help in the hospitals.
Yeah, how much help do you think family members provide those healthcare workers so they're not as overwhelmed? And now that's gone.
Yes.
And what's gone is that expertise about the patient, so there's problems.
Yes.
I'd like to know how many medical errors were prevented because of family members were in there.
Oh, I bet that would be, it's hard to prove, but, I know one time when my mom was in the hospital, they were asking her, the nurse, my dad had left, and I was sitting in there, and the nurse asked my mom, what medicines are you on? And she was on a lot of medicines, and she told them too. And the nurse was writing them down like it was just gospel, and I was like, what about, and what about, what about? And the nurse was like, oh, okay. But she was just going to take that information and go with it. Now there's things in place now where they can pull prescriptions from the drugstores and stuff like that, and so they find out better. But
if that all works like it's supposed to work.
Exactly.
There's still so many things that depend on people doing the right thing 100% of the time.
They do.
In order for things not to go wrong, and that's what we wanted help with.
Well, you have a great success story about Emory.
Oh yeah, I'd like to read it. Actually,
Yeah.
we have a testimonial from Dr. Leitner. About a year and a half ago, I believe, she took the charge and she started introducing Taproot to Emory. And she started with the hospital and got very, very good results. Patient safety officer there said, let's go ahead and expand, and now they're using it at all their university hospitals in Atlanta. But what she told me, she goes, for me personally as a longtime user, using Taproot has really helped my ability to conduct thorough investigations. And she knows through her own experience, she says, that Taproot has helped her get further along in zero harm. And it helps mitigate risks and adverse outcomes to patient and staff. That tool and methodology of Taproot helps organizations organize their investigations in a way that uncovers process issues and further assists in creating strong corrective actions, and gives her a means to track that those corrective actions were implemented well, that they were measured so we could all sleep at night knowing that it was implemented well and it's working. And long term, there's an audit process to ensure that that situation isn't happening again, keeping our patients safe. She also said she loves the new version of the software. It's fast, easy, and she likes how she can see everything, and it's so easy to create reports that she can share with her staff. She does admit that when she didn't have Taproot to use, she was very anxious and she did not look forward to investigations. Every time something came across her plate, she was like, oh no, we've got to investigate. Now she's like, oh boy, we get to improve our process because the anxiety's gone. There's a process to follow with human performance expertise, and she has the right questions to ask when she does her investigation to really narrow down where those root causes are so she can fix those root causes. She also told me the corrective action helper helps a lot.
Oh, that's great.
Because root causes are just the absence of a best practice or
Right.
absence of knowledge not currently in their systems. And that corrective action helper helps her find those best practices and introduces them to Emory.
What a great shift in a mindset.
Yeah, she's
From anxiety to, opportunity for improvement, opportunity to do things better. And wow.
And what that drove home to me is it does take the anxiety away.
Yeah.
It does keep those investigators from making mistakes or taking shortcuts or being scared to introduce corrective actions, because it's an open book test.
Yes.
You know, they have the questions to ask, they find the evidence to answer the yes or no, to go through the framework, and in addition, they have an open book test on putting together corrective actions. They don't have to depend on their
I
own
like it
expertise.
put that way. Open book test.
It is. You
That
just
is great.
Oh, here's the root
don't have
causes
to-
we found, and oh wow, here's a lot of ideas on how to fix those. Here's how I introduce this best practice to my organization, so I don't have to deal with this root cause
Well, when
anymore.
we're trying to reduce human errors, sometimes it's good to have that open book, so you're not you're not depending just solely on yourself.
And it does create consistency, right?
Yes,
So
it
no
can-
matter how much
so
experience
important.
you have, you follow the process,
Yeah.
and you're going to get consistent results no matter who does that
It's
investigation.
not just blame.
And it's not blaming. That's the best part of
Yeah.
it. You know, if I'm in compliance, my first reaction when I hear there's a mistake is, I'm going to write a policy.
Yeah.
I'm going to write a policy so that doesn't happen again. But again, that depends on people doing the right thing 100% of the time.
Exactly.
And it doesn't always work. So if you follow the process, it makes the investigators look at all the possible areas. And you're not using 5 whys where if I'm thinking it's going to be a policy that I'm going to put in place, my first question's automatically going to lead me down that road so I can put the corrective action in place that I think is going to work.
And you may find those other things that weren't necessarily what went wrong, the main thing that went wrong, but could go wrong in the future, and you could go ahead and fix those as well.
Right. Part of the process is looking at that root cause existing generically through your organization, and it's just lying in the bushes waiting to pop up its ugly head when everything lines up exactly wrong that day.
Which it sounds like it happens a lot.
It does. It does.
400,000.
400,000. And it's great to fix root causes in a specific incident. That's a little reactive, which is good because you are improving your systems.
Yeah.
But if you can go out through your organization and see if that root cause exists anywhere else, then you're proactively preventing incidents from happening and keeping our patients safer.
Well, I think I read, kind of based on your statistics, it was almost like 10%.
It is, yeah. Your odds of having a mistake. And if you really talk to people that have had loved ones in the hospitals,
Yeah.
how many of them tell you a story of what almost happened to their
Yeah.
loved one if they didn't intervene?
Yeah, I've told you
Sure.
mine a zillion times.
And not just one.
I couldn't
There were
breathe.
several.
Yeah, exactly. There
There's
were
several.
so many things. Well, so let's tell them how we can help them.
Yeah, so first thing to do, if you're not familiar with root cause analysis at all, I have a webinar that we're
Yes.
going to do July 1st. And that's going to introduce how root cause analysis can help the healthcare industry, what the benefits are. And that'll give you enough information to make a very good choice on if you'd like to implement a methodology like Taproot to your organization to help prevent and keep your patients safe, prevent errors and keep your patients safe.
And these webinars. They don't do replays. They're a live webinar.
Live webinar.
And is it the 2 p.m. Eastern?
2 p.m. Eastern
Yeah.
on July 1st, and it gives the people that are attending a webinar a chance to really ask questions.
Yeah.
We don't want to record them. We don't want to just throw it at them.
Yeah.
But we want them engaged. We want to challenge the people that attend the webinar to share your stories so we can all learn from them.
Right.
So we want to do the webinars live. We want to give you access. We want to build a relationship. So if you do need more information later, you know who to contact and use us as your subject matter expert when you do have root cause analysis questions.
Well, and that's a good economical way that people can test the waters about if they want to go deeper into this, which they can do coming up as well. Is that in July?
That's also in July.
Yeah,
So we have a
2-day.
We have a 2-day root cause analysis for patient safety.
And that's here in Knoxville.
And that's here in Knoxville. It's 2 days of on-site learning. You have access to the instructors.
Public course.
Public course.
Yeah.
So you would register on our store, and I believe the cost is $1,425.
Yeah.
And that's your registration fee. I've applied to get nursing CEUs credit, so I'm waiting to hear back from the state on that.
Oh, that'd be great.
It would be. And,
Yeah.
and it's, again, better return on investment
Yes.
if you can pull CEUs from that course. But just the return on investment on stopping errors and keeping our patients safe is
Absolutely.
is a
And
no-brainer.
look at the how it helps Cynthia's just mindset, just to take that pressure off when something does happen, that she's going to go, she went and learned this, and now, she looks at something happening as an opportunity to improve versus, oh my word.
And that's from the confidence that you get
Yes.
from following a process. I
Yeah.
learned a long time ago, people do much better in their work when they're confident.
Oh, yeah.
When there's anxiety or they're in distressed behavior, they make bad decisions. They take shortcuts. So when you give them a process like Taproot, it clicks. There's something to follow.
Well, and people in the medical industry, they are natural problem solvers.
And we want to help.
Yes,
all the
so
time.
we can help add to that ability to problem solve and help reduce those incidents in the hospitals and keep everybody safe. So I love it. I think it's fantastic. I love that we're starting doing the little introductory webinar things. What do you go over in the webinar?
Well, I think the feedback that I've got that has been most effective for the people that's gone through the webinar is how to recognize certain biases.
Okay.
So we
That's
go over.
real important.
You have to take
Yes.
bias out of any root cause analysis. You have to take blame out of any root cause analysis, or you're going to go down the road where you're going to introduce a corrective action that's not effective.
Yeah.
It's going to be disciplining people. It's going to be retraining them. It's going to be rewriting policies and procedures, because you stop where you find who did what wrong and you try to fix that. You're not looking for the underlying issues, and that's what you have to do in order to have an effective corrective action.
It's a natural inclination for people to, when something happens to a person, they want somebody to blame. So you've got to really change that mindset.
Well, and if you go through the process, sometimes people do go off the rails,
Right.
for whatever reason.
Yes.
And the investigation will prove that you as an organization has done everything that you can do to help people do their jobs correctly. And it's easy for everyone, including the person that is going to be disciplined or retrained, it's easy for everyone to be okay with that.
Yeah.
Because everybody else is doing the job they're supposed to be doing. You're not having any other problems anywhere else. It's just this one-off case. And then your HR department's like, oh, okay, yeah, we approve
Right.
the discipline because we can prove
Yes.
if there's any problems after that, that we investigated, we're doing everything as an organization that we need to do. It was this one person making their own decision, and this is what needs to happen as a corrective action.
Yeah, and we can do something to make sure that doesn't happen again.
That's right.
That's the goal. We want to keep everybody safe and sound, and we want to do this no matter what industry you're in. But today we are focusing on patient safety, so keep that July 1st and then July
27th, I believe,
yes.
but we'll have to throw it
Yeah,
up
we'll
there.
put the links in the description on how to register for these courses, and they're just fantastic. I mean, you saw there a great success story, and we want you to have those kind of success stories too, and take a little off of your mind, get rid of some of that anxiety, because we all problem solve much better when our brains are clear and we have a process and we can follow it and come out with a great corrective action to make sure things don't happen again. Well, thanks, Marcus.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure.
You always have great stuff, and I loved the success story, hearing of what happened from Emory, because it just shows you she's a wonderful person.
Oh, she
Yeah.
presented at her summit
Yeah, she did.
all the things that they've done to implement
Yes.
Taproot, and it was super impressive.
Yeah, she's a wonderful person. Well, to find out more, go to our website, taproot.com, and follow us on all of our social media platforms. If you want to see more of these videos, hit the notification bell, subscribe to our channel, like this. If you have an example of something that's happened in a patient safety type situation, we'd love to hear about it. You never know, we could help you solve that to keep that from happening in the future. So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you back here next week.
Thank you.